Well, we posed the question, could Jaylings bring something to the big boy table? And my goodness, they brought it despite losing 3-1. The series was close. Starting with a huge opening on Street Strongholds, Jaylings had the lead early, but Ascend showed resilience, bringing the scoreline back into a comfortable position and running away with the dub. Slayer was all about Jaylings, getting 5 kills off the rip. They lead the charge throughout and keeping at least a 9-kill lead throughout, finally closing it as well. Map 3 brought us Recharge Ball though, where Respectful got his revenge that he wanted with a sword in hand and, more importantly, ball in hand though. Ascend do close out the map with a dominant performance, and finally CTF Aquarius was where it was at. It was as close as it gets, with a 3-3 overtime pushing players to have to play perfectly. But I'll tell you what, perfect is Ascend doing their job. They love to play perfect, and that overtime was exactly that. Amazing, amazing work, I think, from both of the teams on that main stage, and what an exciting series to open Championship Sunday with. But we need to talk about the next winners semifinals. That's going to be on the main stage as well. And we do have Quadrant versus NAVI, which I personally am really excited about. Gaskin, this is going to be a true test, I think, for NAVI. This is where we're going to see where these guys are really at. Yes, they took down Online Warriors pretty convincingly yesterday, but I think when it comes up with Quadrant, it's going to be a little bit of a new level for them, and we will see if that consistency can come across the board.
This is also going to be Quadrant's first real test, realistically, from what they've faced so far in this tournament. So it's certainly going to be a match which will tell us a lot about who's realistically going to have that opportunity to get to a grand final as well. These two teams have been back and forth all season. It started off with Quadrant having the better of NAVI for quite some time, but then recently, NAVI have had the better over Quadrant in online tournaments. But we heard from the Quadrant boys that, you know, it's online, it doesn't matter, we're just practicing a little bit, we're focusing on LAN. I think all of those results, all of the online performances we've seen recently, we can start to kind of just throw them out the window a little bit, because now everyone's arrived at LAN. It's the first European LAN we've had in far too long. And now it's your chance to show what you're made of. And I do think both of these teams are going to go full on at one another. There's going to be nothing left behind here.
I think so too. And in fact, I have some information that we already had a little bit of a rivalry happening at the end of the video. We sat down and filmed with SLG and Jimbo talking about this matchup and how much this will mean to them if they do get that dub on the series.
I think I can speak for all my teammates saying we're not coming in nervous at all. We just came back out of top 7-8 in Kansas City against the best American teams. So yeah, Europe, we're feeling confident.
Well, you can already see from the start of this game, it's 35-0. They're going to be able to reset B here and already.
We started our winner bracket run against Vexed, which we beat 3-0. And next we're going to play NAVI for the semis.
He's not going to make the respawners very happy. He's not going to make them comfortable. He's going to apply pressure. Finds 2. He's behind enemy lines. I've seen this movie. It's an overkill.
So on our last match, we just played against Online Warriors, which obviously on the name is, you know, they're quite hard to play against online. So, you know, we're expecting a tough match versus those, and especially going Game 5 versus Blackhand yesterday, we weren't expecting it to be easy today. So the fact we 3-0'd them, and I feel like in a comfortable fashion, which, you know, it's great to feel.
We're not really overthinking our next matchup against NAVI. I think if we play our game, we should be fine.
Going up against Quadrant in the semis, I think all of us are very, very confident versus them. We always lose them online, but it seems like every single time we play them in the tournament, we beat them, so we have that riding with us. They have quite a few players that kind of shake a bit on LAN, so it's, you know, all in our favor. But I'm looking forward to it. I love playing against them.
And Tram, and now Jimbo kind of looks like out of place. Well, Mikey decided to drop the ball.
We don't have any message for NAVI. We're just looking forward to play a good matchup. Hopefully we win.
Winning the event is what really matters, and obviously we're at the point where we're potentially 2 series away from doing it.
For now, we're obviously going to focus on winning this one.
Quadrant, doesn't matter how much you change your roster, you're still going to lose to us when it matters.
I love this, Jimbo.
I love this,
Jim. Oh my God! The confidence is oozing. That's scary in itself. Just seeing that interview and how he's feeling about this, the way that he played yesterday, the animation that we saw on the main stage, you know, it really does add to kind of what we're building here. But I do want to ask a quick question on set. A couple of Quadrant players that he thinks might get a bit shaky on LAN. Who do you reckon he's talking about?
I asked Jim. It's nothing to do with me. Like, what kind of a question is that?
Your friend?
You know, how do I get out of that without throwing someone under a bus?
Who do you think it will be?
Well,
go on.
The thing is, we'll have to wait and see, won't we, Lottie? We'll have to see who performs in this series. I'll remember that. You've flustered me now. Maybe me.
Maybe you're shaking.
It's a good point, though, that Jim makes, right? Because online, there has been, consistent scrims, there's been tournaments, and it always seems like scrims, whatever practice, historically Quadrant got the better of NAVI. But when it got to the big games and when it mattered, even in online competition, NAVI would somehow pull a performance out. So I think not only NAVI have that in mind, but Quadrant also have that in mind. And I just wonder if that's going to be quite a big factor in this, because if you're sat on the NAVI side, you're probably feeling pretty confident because of the fact that you're sat there and you're like, we've beaten these guys in tournament before. We take the first game, maybe we can run away with this. But Quadrant are going to be locked in because they're more aware of this than anyone, right? They're like, we can't let this happen again. This is LAN. This is the second time, actually, these two teams would have met up on LAN, even though there was a few team changes. And the first time, again, when they matched up, and it was back in Raleigh, it was NAVI who came out on top. It was a game 5, it was a close series, but NAVI won it. So I think Quadrant want to put the history right. They want to set the record straight, and especially in this kind of environment when I think they're playing some of their best Halo, is a great opportunity to do so.
It certainly is a big opportunity, and there's an opportunity for the Quadrant lands right now to kind of knock the wind out of Navi's sails. How are they going to do that, Lethal?
It's going to be a big question. Now, I wasn't really too excited for this matchup on the Friday, but after seeing NAVI on a Saturday, they are literally just straight fire right now. They've seen the raw passion. We've not seen it in weeks, maybe even months. And Quadrant are going to be making notes of that. I think one thing we need to see is player like Nuix doing more damage, having more flair on the server. He's kind of very similar to Fragger, which is why I was kind of debating why they made that change. I think it's more of a passion thing and more giving the team the drive to maybe push a little bit more forward. But as long as they continue what they're doing, they're known for their coordination, their comms, and being able to collapse together as a squad at a very fast pace. That's what they're known for. And the more they play throughout a tournament, the more they actually be able to strive and actually speed up the pace even further. But for NAVI, they need to worry about the numbers. Numbers. This is the one thing and one of the major weaknesses for NAVI. And the way they played yesterday, hopefully they can rectify that, or if it does occur at some stage, just go back to basics and help themselves out throughout the matchup.
I just want to touch on something you said yesterday, though. Something you said, excuse me, which is how NAVI played yesterday. That was yesterday. Today can be completely different. This is a point I've been making about this NAVI roster the whole time, right? They can be world-class. They can look unbeatable. They can look brilliant. And then the next series, they just seem to look like they want to play on their own and they don't play together. So that's the thing for NAVI here. You've got to sit behind. I think Wonderboy's got a big job here, just to keep them locked in, keep them focused for whatever the result is in that first game.
Funny thing is, you can say the same about Quadrant. Is it going to be the online scrim Quadrant? Is it going to be the online performance Quadrant? Is it going to be the LAN Quadrant that turns up? Both of these teams are so sporadic when it comes to their performances, which is what's going to make such an exciting series here. And remember, this guarantees top 3, so that guarantees Orlando. So that's one less bit of pressure off your shoulders going into that winners final. So this is a really important game for both of these teams.
This certainly is a very important game, and that also kind of bodes well with the series layout to see exactly what is going to be coming their way. So let's have a look right now, folks, and see what maps and modes we have and the combo for the semi-finals. Well, it's going to be very similar to the one we saw before. We've got Streets, Strongholds, Catalyst, Slayer, Obble, Recharge, CTF Aquarius, and if it goes the distance, we do have Slayer on Streets as well. What can you kind of tell, through this series layout on set?
One thing that is good for Quadrant is game 2, because they like Slayer Catalyst, and they think that they've worked out how to play it. They think they're having success. NAVI don't. NAVI do not like it whatsoever. So that could be a big swing game, because you think about that and you keep that in your mind. And if you're Quadrant, you win that one, all good, right? NAVI move on to the next, they're not too bothered. But if NAVI win that game, where they're probably thinking, this isn't a game type we really excel at, and Quadrant think they do, then that might be a very interesting kind of proposition that Quadrant will have to deal with.
NAVI did win Oddball Recharge very convincingly in Pro Series just a couple of weeks ago against Quadrant as well. So I think that Game 3 goes back in NAVI's favor. So we've got a kind of a tippy-toppy series, as it were. It's going to be going back and forth. A seesaw is what I meant. Seesaw, tippy-toppy, very similar things.
Well, we'd love to see it, but I tell you what, we're going to seesaw right now out of this desk into the caster booth. We do have Clutch and Shurzy on the mics to take us through our next winners semi-final.
Thanks so much, Lottie. Cannot wait to jump into this winners semi-finals. We're going to see a winners finalist very, very soon between these two teams. Quadrant up against NAVI. They've been back and forth online, but last time these two met in LAN, it was in Raleigh, and it was actually NAVI who got the better of them.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, though. This is a different Quadrant roster. It's a different NAVI roster as well. Both have a couple of team changes, but from there on out, it's been all Quadrant having a majority of the success between these two. Game 1's going to be an important one for NAVI. Just looking at Street Strongholds, you want to carry on the momentum from yesterday, Shurs, and everything we saw at the end of that series against Online Warriors from NAVI was just about perfect.
Quadrant yet to drop a map. We've already seen NAVI go to a game 5. If this is Friday NAVI, they don't stand a chance here.
No, I don't think this is going to be Friday Navi. I don't know if it's going to be Saturday Navi. We'll find out what Sunday Navi look like. But Quadrant, like you said, haven't dropped a map. Is this going to be where they start? This is their first real challenge at the tournament as well. So very excited to see what they bring when they're challenged.
Gaskin described this as a tippy-toppy series. I'm not sure what that means in the grand scheme of things, but let's talk about it.
I don't really understand half the things Dan says, to be honest.
It's gibberish most of the times, and I speak fluent gibberish, and I still don't always be picking up what he's trying to say. But let's talk about how Navi have gotten to this point. Went to a Game 5. It was a very nervy moment on Friday for them. They come through, though. Online Warriors, a team that we expected big things from, and they have flattered to deceive, it must be said. But they won 3-0. That this is a much bigger test than what they've had before. Yeah,
very disappointed in Online Warriors so far. So now I'm sitting here scratching my head. How good is Navi? Is it Online Warriors slacking? Is it them not being as strong of a team as we thought they were? Or is it Navi really stepping up to the plate and playing ball with some of the best in the world, some of the best in Europe for sure? We'll find out quickly. I think that there's going to be a lot of questions answered here. And you know, both these two teams, yeah, they were warming up, but they were also probably paying attention to that J-Wings Ascend series just moments ago. And everything J-Wings showed you was they're here to play. So both these two teams, if they lose this one, could be a double out for them. You know you want to get to that winners bracket finals. This series alone worth just about 12 grand, I'm pretty sure, between the two teams, and a chance at a championship is on the line. So we'll find out who brings their A game here.
And with the stakes being so high and the pressure starting to build, does this start to isolate some of those younger players, the likes of Mighty, who hasn't been in this situation before? We're about to find out. Eyes and ears of Chick, shields are up, weapons are hot, and Kimbo's the first one to hit the death screen.
The guy you need to shut down. It's Chick, unfortunately. He's going to be able to take down 2 Foxy in a 1v2 situation. 3 go down for Navi, and now all of a sudden Quadrant are going to get that early lead.
Quadrant already looking to push the pace, push the tempo. Triple cap perhaps. 2 Foxy, you can see the outline top A. He's going to try and convert. It's going to be a straight swap, but somehow B has not been converted after a fresh 3 dead. They're starting to make inroads now, but Shad to the respawn screen. That will make this push more difficult. 2 dead now. Navi's opportunity to break the setup immediately.
Yeah, Navi don't go to B. They try to overextend towards the shotgun up the purple stairs. And because of it, they're going to be able to actually get a couple kills, get C control, and now they've created chaos. In the midst of the chaos, Kimbo with the double does everything Navi need to get a trip cap.
Kimbo slicing and dicing already. Navi answer back from that initial start from Quadrant. A and B in their control. What have Quadrant got in the tank to break this setup? Kimbo's planted his feet. Eyes firmly set on Cafe. SLG will be taking down the half shields. Kimbo looks up for the fight today.
Navi winning the battle at the Sway so far. That's big. If Kimbo's playing well, usually good things happen for Navi. Last guy alive needs to play his life, and that's exactly what he's trying to do here on the stairs, and we'll see how successful it is. And yes, sir, he gets 2 by himself. Kimbo with a big.
Microwaving those shields. We've seen Quadios using that weapon to great effect yesterday, and perhaps on land it hits a little bit different. And Chick, when attention's turned to B, will lock it in for his team, and perhaps a triple cap if they can defend C, which they cannot do so. But now we're seeing Quadrant back in the steering wheel.
Not a lot of information from Chick. Wants to get involved. Good damage to the Bulldog, but stays alive knowing that, hey, Navi, they're somewhere on this map. Hadn't seen him yet. Good job. I mean, that was a massive rotation from him right there.
He's still yet to be converted, but Jimbo's picked up the rockets. That's punched a hole in this Quadrant defense. 4 dead now for the French. Jimbo and 2 Foxy turn their attention to a triple cap for Navi. This is a strong start. Both these teams still jostling for position, trying to push the pace. And both getting the better of one another at times. Nobody yet to be able to hold it for any significant amount of time. Is this about to change? 1 dead apiece here. And the push is coming back A. 2 Foxy back down at the PD with Shad now. More interested in the stronghold, and you can see why. 2 Foxy wants a little piece again, and he challenges, and he gets the reset. A and C remain in Navi control.
2 Foxy and Kimbo making plays so far here for Navi. They've got that 40-point lead just about. Quadrant are going to get out of the trip cap. They are going to be able to get control of their own strongholds, you would think, but no. B actually going in the favor of Navi as well, so A lot of pressure on Quadrant right now, a slow start for them.
95 points to 40. Bulldog in the hands of Shad. Chicks got the opening pick. 3 dead for Navi now. The Quadrant move quick. Last member's been a bit of a thorn in the side of Shad here as he desperately tries to get the conversion on C, excuse me, but 2Foxy's making it really difficult and somehow has kept the hold of it, clinging on. But they've managed to turn their attentions to B, but Navi keeping this really scrappy.
Yeah, a phenomenal job there by 2Foxy. From the last guy live to be able to get that kill, not only that, but gives Jimbo the spawn as well. His presence alone allows Navi to keep control of C there, and because of it, they don't fall into a trip cap. They don't allow Quadrant to capitalize as much as they probably should have.
2Foxy hot out the blocks in game 1, 11 kills already registered. To put that into perspective, Shad on the other side only has 2 kills and 8 deaths, has got to pick it up if Quadrant are going to get back into this game.
The play from 2Foxy, that kill gave them numbers coming off respawn to get those rockets, and look what they've turned those rockets into, Jersey. It's a 60-point lead. It's control of A and B. They've been able to flip the map ever since, and it's all off that one play, and that's what I'm talking about from Navi. They were making plays yesterday. They're doing the same here.
Quadrant probably not expecting this pressure this early. Navi are up for the fight on Championship Sunday. They've turned the corner. Those few extra reps over the weekend have done their confidence the world of good here. Chick, down to no shields, has got to retreat. Jimbo, somehow, some way, doesn't get the trade. And Chick gets a massive kill, but does not get the conversion on the C. SLG tries to step inside, contests it, but doesn't do enough.
And 2Foxy makes another play. 14 kills to his name. He's making plays all across the board. And someone that really needs to start stepping it up on the side of Quadrant has got to be Shad. He was in the top 5 for KDs coming into the day. 3 and 11's not going to cut it from Shad when you need to play on Championship Sunday.
A and C now flip Quadrant's control. They begin to score and close that gap now. 127 to 75 it currently sits at. Nurix wants B, desperately tries to get into it, takes down one, but is traded out immediately by Navi. Kimbo secures that kill and makes sure he cannot do any damage. A and B now for Navi once more. You spoke about how this game is super important for Navi at the start of this series, and they're looking hot.
Yeah, they need to close the door on this one, though. Still plenty of game to go, just 140 points. And this one goes to 250, so still a lot of room for Quadrant to play around, and really all it takes is one trip cap situation. 4 dead for Quadrant, though, and it's at the perfect time. Jersey Rockets are up. They're in the hands of Jimbo, and let's see what Jimbo can do.
Game's a hell of a lot easier when you can put people in the death screen. 4 dead, Rocket secure, but he's ran away from them, has Nurix. He didn't recognize the rocket down, and 2Foxy's picked that up and put it to use immediately. A 1v1, it must be a 1v2 as he's getting shot in the back as well. And 2Foxy gets taken down, but 3 dead once more for Quadrant for a moment.
You thought those rockets were going to be a power curve for Navi. They may not have transitioned to that immediately, but pressure from Navi was able to succeed. They got the kills they needed, and now look at the pressure just continuing on to C. Quadrant are able to transfer it over, but I mean, it's not easy. Nothing being given to Quadrant. They have to take everything and fight for just about every bit of space they've had on the map so far.
Every single time Quadrant have tried to step into a hill, they've gotten it 3/4 of the way, 4/5 of the way, and 2Foxy has stepped in to get that reset, and that is why we continue to see them scoring. They're almost at 200 points to 75.
And this is something we saw from Navi yesterday, right? This is a much faster pace Navi. They are pressing their advantage. Is something you have to do in Halo Infinite if you want to be the best, if you want to win championships. Navi have started to pick up their pace now, and it's starting to benefit them immensely.
Quadrant, they're on the ropes. Are they wilting? Is the pressure too much? Can they get a grip of game 1 here? They have A and C. It's the per-man setup. Navi set up towards B. Looks as though the call is going to be, we're heading A. It's a hard hit for A. SLG in the L. He's going to scope that out. Information passed through. Cafe engagement goes down. 2 go down for Navi. Jimbo and Kimbo hit the respawn screen. Mighty's back tower. And he has Shad to deal with. 1 dispatch. Can he make it 2? Chick's in big trouble. 2 kills for the Dutchman as he waltzes on into A and secures it.
Hadn't had the greatest game yet statistically maybe, but those 2 kills, they were massive because Rockets, they just came up. Unfortunately, they did go for him. Kimbo went down, but he was able to throw them, I believe, over towards Jimbo. So in the kill feed. Jimbo does have those rockets. Once again, Na'Vi focusing on power weapon control to a T.
Quadrant have a moment to catch their breath. Won't last long. B is being contested. Chick recognizes that and he's turned his attentions to A. He has lost a teammate in the process though. Distraction over towards B. He needs to lock in A for his team, but Na'Vi are wise to it. They're starting to come back at him. Lovely shot will do enough for one, but not two. And the A reset will come. Na'Vi stands strong.
2:13 and climbing. Now all of a sudden the pressure is going to start to be felt on the side of Quadrant. The risk of going down 1-0 and what you think is your trip to the winners bracket finals. What can you do to get out of this one?
230 to 124. Quadrant can ill afford to make any more mistakes. Not only that, they have to get into strongholds. SLG is the first man to do it, but it's a 2v2 on the map. Kimbo hits the respawn screen. A double kill for SLG. Can he make it 3? The reset comes through once more.
The reset comes through, the points keep ticking, and now all of a sudden just 8 needed for the side of Na'Vi.
Ticking down. 3, 2, 1. There's nobody there for Quadrant, and Na'Vi take game 1.
Not even too much of a celebration, just fist bumps all around. It's a steep mountain to try and climb to win this championship. But one game out of their way. One box ticked in the direction of a potential winners bracket finals match. You got to get three of them if you're Na'Vi. You got a Catalyst Slayer, which we talked about, the Death talked about. Maybe not the strongest game type for Na'Vi, but if you can take game 2, you put yourself in such a prime position to get there.
Well, well, well. What a performance from Na'Vi. 250 to 124. Taking a look at the stats, we mentioned Shad needed to pick it up. He didn't. 9 and 18.
Didn't pick up a whole lot of kills there, and that's a tough game for Shad, but best of 5 for a reason. It's a long series. You got to get involved somehow. You got to have more of an impact if you're Shad. But all Quadrant just looked a little bit slow. Didn't capitalize on key moments. Right before rockets are coming up, everybody's alive on the map. Who's going to get the kills? It was always Na'Vi, and because of it, Na'Vi were getting those rockets. They were putting the rockets to use. And taking a look at the damage, somebody I called out at the start of the tournament that really has not impressed me in Halo Infinite, that I want to see more of. I know he's capable of more. It was Kimbo.
What a performance from Kimbo. Quadrant though, game 1, slow, lethargic, and they handed the keys to Na'Vi. With players like 2 Foxy, you cannot do that. What a performance from him. Every single time there was a moment in the game where someone needed to go big, it was him.
2 Foxy, time after time, last guy alive, finds a way to get the kill, finds a way to get the reset. Creates an opening for his team, gets a double kill and gets the reset at one point in this game. And it was just 2 Foxy making too many plays. And that's exactly what you need from the veteran, right? The guy, the leader, you lead by example. Especially in an important series like this, you got to figure out a way to impact gameplays, because what that does is, we saw what Jimbo's play yesterday did for the rest of Na'Vi. It carried them through the entire series. Everybody started getting fired up, making plays. 2 Foxy making some plays in that game. I guarantee you his teammates that were dead, they're watching that play happen. He's giving them life. He's giving them, hey, I'm coming off respawn fired up because my teammate just created space for me.
We spoke about Quadrant. They hadn't dropped the map all tournament long.
Well,
all of a sudden, their first big test, it has to be said, is against Na'Vi. They go down 0-1 in the series.
And it wasn't pretty either, right? That's the thing. It wasn't a Slayer. It was an objective. And it wasn't close. 250 to 124. That's a blowout from Na'Vi. They're continuing to ride that momentum wave from yesterday. And we had a lot of questions as to who was going to show up on that right side of the stage. And one of those questions got answered just in game 1.
And with Slayer Catalyst now on the horizon, this is a game type that Quadrant typically do well in. With Na'Vi, they like structure. Catalyst does not always offer and provide that for you. Is this an opportunity? Is this a road back for Quadrant in this series?
Such a tough game type as a game 2 as well, in such an important series, right? Such a new map mode combo here. Not a lot of meta has been involved, and not a lot of thought process going behind the decisions of these players throughout the game, right? You want to run with teammates, you want to be aggressive, but sometimes you're overextending. You don't even know you're overextending at the time, unlike the map modes that everybody's been playing throughout all of Infinite. So I expect mistakes to be made. We'll see who's able to capitalize on those mistakes here and now.
Championship Sunday then. Navi draw first blood. Quadrant have been nicked, but will it be fatal? Will they start to bleed out all over that main stage? It's down to Navi now to try and double their series lead, or Quadrant to roar back into life.
How's Mighty starting this one off? Unfortunately, nobody on Navi really focused on the overshield, and somehow Quadrant just able to get that one. You gotta realign your starting strats. That's a big misstep from Navi. 4 go down, and Quadrant with complete control. We'll see what they do with it from here.
Sword to play with. It's been passed over the Shad. No more repulsors to play with, it would seem. It's gonna be hand-to-hand combat, no doubt. Be bringing a gun to a sword fight if you get close. This man Shad. SLG's at the respawn screen. Navi do get their opening kill. It's come from 2 Foxy. Will that open the map though? Nurix has answered back. 5 kills to 1. The game has already slowed down. The pressure, no doubt, getting to these 2 teams. They know what's at stake.
Navi want to try and slow this down. Are Quadrant going to let them though? You saw Shad wanting to sit there with the sword, wanting to slow the game down himself, but the second he saw a teammate with him, they saw a 2v2 opportunity. They used their map control, their advantages to extend the lead to 3, now 7-4. Now Navi have to figure out a way to get that sword out of Shad's hand and get some map control back in their favor.
4 kills difference as we enter the opening 10. Quadrant look the favorites to get there. Mighty's skewer goes through the legs, nutmegged. That won't get the job done. Style points perhaps, but does not secure 1 kill, but Nurix does so. Onto Jimbo. Kimbo goes down 2, and it's 11 kills to 4.
This is Navi not having an answer for a poor start, right? This is the first overshield impacting the last 2 minutes of the game. The good thing for Navi, overshield's coming out in 7 seconds. The bad thing for Navi, you're not in a position to do it. And when you get a kill on the Mighties like that, it almost guarantees you're gonna have the space in order to get this one.
SLG's been so good with the skewer, but cannot go for the overshield as 2 members on his team have been eliminated, and that will open the door for Navi to secure their first. Jimbo's sword in, he's managed to pick up a couple of kills, might have even been 3. And Jimbo going for that overkill, you can see why. Full of confidence after his performance yesterday.
I said who was going to capitalize on the mistakes. You saw Quadrant get the first pick, but somehow Navi answer it right back, right before the overshield comes up. It allows Jim to get that overshield, and what does it do? It's a 5-kill swing, Jersey. They get 3 from Jimbo alone with that overkill, and now we're looking at a 3-kill game once again.
3 kills is all that separates them. It was originally 6. They've half the deficit. Can they keep mounting the pressure? 1 more goes their way. Grenades get tagging Mighty's up. He has to back down. He has a teammate on hand. They're starting to slow it down once more. Chick taking players down to no shields. SLG soars from the heavens to secure a trade. 2v2 on the map now. Still just a 2-kill game.
Neck and neck so far. Map control, I'd say, benefits Navi in this situation. Kimbo, with the stellar performance in game 1, was advanced on the map as we switched to Chig. Back to Kimbo. Playing this one slow, and I love the fact that players are starting to do this. They're playing the corners, but Nurix with some beautiful shots removes that good play with even better individual skill.
2 beautiful nades to smoke Nurix out of that cover. Lock in a kill. Remains 2 kills advantage though to Quadrant for everything good Navi do. Quadrant cling on, they have an answer. 15 seconds till this next overshield. It's going to be massive.
These kills are massive. These moments right here, they are massive. 2 go down for Navi. Last time around, Quadrant weren't able to capitalize here, and we'll see if they can get the overshield.
SLG slips away at the vital time. Game sense turned to the notch. Boom! 4 fresh shots from Mighties. That's the sort of thing you need to see on Championship Sunday.
On to Chick as well. You think Chick, the superstar for Quadrant, is going to be able to help his team? No, Mighty's the young gun, the newcomer in the scene. Wins the 1v1, and it looks like Navi's been able to capitalize on top of it.
Overshield down. Looks as though nobody's able to put their hands on it. Mighty's desperately trying to stay alive, does so successfully too. Sword in the back pocket. If he calls upon it, it will be his best friend. 2-kill game though. The difference has been this way. They've been shadowing each other the entire way. Two Foxy locks in one more. We're all tied up.
Mighty gives his team the lead for the first time. It is traded back, but sword in hand, you want to stay alive. Unfortunately, he goes down. We got to talk about that overshield getting stuck in the ground just a second. Shures, how many lives were given for that? How many players desperate at trying to activate that overshield? Somehow, some way, it's just glitched into the ground, and that's got to frustrate players. Mentally, if I die going for that overshield, can that shake me? Absolutely. Will it? We'll find out as this game continues to go on. Navi seem to be the benefactor as of yet.
Touched upon yesterday on the desk. Mental fortitude can be so important in these big series. Mighty's has fallen. Who will it affect the most? Who will wilt under the pressure? 2-kill game, but this time Navi have taken the lead.
Look, 2Foxy wants it, but that overshield is just a fake one. Noric keep playing. 2Foxy with 10 to his name as well. Having a stellar series so far. Can he get Navi across the finish line here in the Slayer? That would be a big advantage to go up 2-0 against this Quadrant roster. And just as I say that, a couple of kills going in Navi's favor are going to make that even more of a reality, a chance to happen. 4 kills are the leads. Make it 5 with perfect shots once again from the Gymbeister.
5-kill advantage then. Navi are starting to put it together at the most important time in this Slayer, in the late game. Giving Quadrant very little time to react. But they must, they have to, or they'll go down 2 in the series, and it's a long road back. We've seen reverse sweeps before, but with the way Navi are playing, they're not going to make this easy. 6 kills the difference between these teams. Skewer picked up by Jim, and the man's not missing right now.
Not missing, nobody on Navi out of position either. You saw that guy being weak was everything Jimbo needed to stay alive, keep Skewer in their control. And just like that, it's an 8-kill, make it 9, Jimbo. As Navi starts to run away with it, the pressure on the Quadrant, we're seeing true colors show out.
Jimbo making kebabs of Quadrant. 41-33 as we head into the late game now. Quadrant recognize the situation they're in. They will try and slow this game down to a crawl, but Navi do not have to move.
Now, this is Navi's game to lose, they know that. They've been in such important series on land before. You have to make sure that the young gun, he's not giving up free deaths, and that's one of them. Another kill back in Quadrant's favor, and now as a 6-kill game, the superstar, he's been quiet as of yet, but this could be the moment where Chick makes a play.
Chick about to flip a switch. 2 members of Navi descend onto Nurix. That's unwinnable. They've traded it out. But Navi will take those kills all day long. SLG needs help. It's going to come, but there's one more back base in the shape of Mighty's, who picks up one. Sword out. Mighty's tries to backtrack. Unsuccessful, but the difference remains 5.
Questionable to go for the sword there, not just finish him off with the battle rifle. And now Chick, he's got to get out of dodge. You cannot continue to trade kills. Still a 6-kill game, and that's exactly how Navi capitalized. 3 go down for Quadrant. 3 needed for Navi to close this one out and go up 2-0.
When it rains, it pours. Overshield for Navi. Sword for Navi. SLG recognizes this, tries to scamper away desperately. Jimbo knows exactly where he's going and heads them off at the pass. Quadrant are in big, big trouble here. Sword takes down 1. They require 1, and it comes elsewhere. Navi double the series lead. Game 2 to the yellow and black.
Kimbo feeling himself a little bit too. A wag of the finger as he stands up. Continuing to keep the energy high for Navi. Maybe that's exactly the recipe for success for these guys. It was a quiet victory after game 1, but you can see a little emotion even in the hands of guys that are usually robotic up there on that main stage. You can tell how bad Navi want a chance at not only a winner's bracket finals, but a chance to play against Respectful and the boys over on Ascent.
I'm seeing something that I've not seen in a very long time on a main stage from Jimbo, and it's simply a smile. For the longest time, he's been miserable up there. This is a different Navi that's come to play in Valencia. The sunny Spain agrees with him. What a performance out of him. 13 kills, 9 deaths and 7 assists, but Mighty's the young gun, you spoke about it. Massive from him.
Massive game 2. That's what you picked him up for right there. Maybe not the strongest game 1, but it's all about, hey, if 2Foxy's going to lead by example, guess what? If you taught the young gun anything, it's that, hey, game 2 is an important one. Can you make a couple plays? Can you go off for us? He does just that. Most again in the kills, assists category. And when a teammate's giving you that jersey, I said it yesterday, that's everything you could ever ask for.
Quadrant had the lead for so long, and at one point it was significant, 6 or so kills. Somehow, Navi flipped the script, they spin it around, and they end up winning by 10 kills. Mentally, how crushing is that going to be for Quadrant now?
Deflated, right? You get your first chance. We talked about, hey, you were undefeated coming into the series. This could be your tournament to win. You won one of the qualifiers online. Are you as good to compete against Ascend? And now all of a sudden, the storyline's starting to shift. Navi's starting to change directions. The wins are in their favor, and Quadrant, their ship's got a hole in it. Who's got the plug? Who's going to make a play? Somebody's got to step up, and as of yet, we really haven't seen anybody on the Quadrant side step up, make a play that they had no business making, and unfortunately, plays are being made on the other side of the stage.
And if you're just joining us, confirmation of how it's gone. 250 to 124, it was not close. And the Slayer we just seen, 50 to 40.
It was not close.
It was not close either, particularly in the latter stages. Navi, we talked about it, those wheels are starting to turn, those gears are starting to spin. They're looking at different beasts on Championship Sunday.
They played Online Warriors. Game 1 against Online Warriors was pretty close. Game 2 and 3 were not. These first 2 against Quadrant, they have not been as well. So Navi, questions at the start of the series, were they going to be able to ride momentum? Answers yes and yes. Let's finish this one off now, boys. If you're on the side of Navi, if you're Quadrant, it's now or never.
Recharge oddball. The stage is set for Navi to perform the clean sweep, and with how their week started on the Friday, who could have foreseen this coming?
I sure didn't, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I thought it would be a for sure Ascend Quadrant matchup in the winners bracket finals, but Navi proving me wrong, proving a lot of people out there wrong. And maybe doubt was all they needed to give them a little bit of motivation to kick off their best performance yet.
Navi on match point then. Quadrant have got to come to life. They're on life support. They need resuscitation. Nurex picks up one, but again, the opening engagements have gone in favor of Navi. Will they make them pay? Chick desperately trying to stay alive, but we've been waiting for him to spark to life here.
Good job staying alive, though. These spawns over towards pipes, they're important, especially as the ball is over here at the start of the game. He's got grapple in hand. You know he wants to grapple that ball to him, but you need to get some kills first. And I like how Chick is playing this one. More focused on positioning rather than overextending for the ball. This is the power position he's in now.
Round 1 of this oddball might be more important than game 1 was for Quadrant. If they go down, it'll be detrimental to the confidence that they've brought into today. Navi have ball. The call has come to rotate it through glass and indeed long haul. They're looking for the possibility, the opportunity to play ball if required. Kimbo has gone down. Numbers for now favor Quadrant. The setup will not stand strong here. Ball down. Not yet been able to play, and maybe perhaps open the door here for Quadrant to have a setup of their own.
Yeah, the big thing for me right here in game 3 is Navi struggled on recharge ball on Friday. They were not able to hold setups. They were able to break setups, but every time they tried to get a setup, they couldn't hold it for anything, right? And immediately, the first setup opportunity they have, Quadrant are able to break it. Chick with the repulsor, plays the ball, gets the kill as well. You wish that ball was still with them if you're on the side of Quadrant, but no harm, no foul. We'll reset it. We've got the lead at least. And Navi not being able to take advantages of their opportunities still worries me for this map mode.
Just wonder if the confidence was there for Chick. Did he drop the ball and repulse the player and pick it back up again? This moment is massive for this team. Killing spree for Chick. We asked for them to spark to life. There is some smoke. We're starting to see signs of fire.
Yeah, this is the Chick you know and love, the one that they need on fire in order to come back and create the reverse sweep. And the rest of the team help him out at this point. He's got a lot of ball time as well, so Chick doing it all. But just like that, Quadrant setup, it's broken. The pressure from Navi may be too much.
25 to 12 then. Game is reset for a moment. Opportunity to catch your breath. Start to rotate now through Kimbo. One kill in the chamber. Locked in onto Nurex. Chick's traded it out and escaped with his life. He's gone glass. He's going to be faced with Mighties who eliminates him. The 3v3 on the map for a moment. Ball being milked by Kimbo, bottom middle. All that scrappy time starts to hurt in the end. The ball's been passed to Jim. Repulsor play onto that plasma grenade. Heads up decision from Shad. But can he get close to the ball before this setup truly starts to pay dividends for Navi? Yes, he can. Ball picked up, but not able to get far as 2Foxy locks into.
Yeah, 2Foxy once again, the last guy alive. He finds 2, still being a nuisance. Can he get a 3rd? And just immediately flip the numbers advantage on its head. He finds a way to do so. And although the ball not in a great position, 2Foxy just denied a whole lot of time going in Quadrant's hands.
Quadrant have 2 down. Mighty's rotate the ball in towards blue. 2Foxy using the repel, the grapple, to get himself out of dodge. Done so successfully. That is not a frag grenade, 2Foxy. I assure you, it does not act the same way. And Urix wins a 1v1. Not going to hurt too much though, as ball's in no man's land. Both these teams still jostling for position, but finally Quadrant do pick up the ball and they rotated pipes.
Even the one against 2Foxy should just build confidence for Nurix, a guy that really needs it right now at 3 and 6. That's a big kill that's allowed this pipe setup to even take fruition at this point. Quadrant's got a full setup. They got a player flanking below them, and if they can take him out, as Shad does, they should be able to get a significant lead here in round 1.
Chick, patience. Nade doesn't do the damage that he would so desperately wanted, but Jimbo's coming back for more, chasing him down, and to his detriment as the Frenchman handles him there. 2 down, make it 3 for Navi. This should mean more scoring, but the ball is down on the Needler spawn. Finally picked up, scooped up, and they can score more points. 60-25. Quadrant starting to put it together.
Yeah, Quadrant with this setup, they've blown this round wide open, up 40 right now. Navi need to act quickly off the pick on Shad. Can they do it is the big question. It's going to be tough to get through SLG, especially with these nades. The repulsion from Jim's good. The shots are better, and Jim gets the opening into pipes.
Gets into pipes, but doesn't get to stay there for very long. Kimbo will trade out that death. Tries to live in the meantime. Nurix wanted that shock rifle. But 2Foxy, the captain, ensures that will not be an eventuality and scoops up a sword to boot. 2 kills go in their favor. 3 dead for Quadrant as Kimbo locks in 2. And now they can start to eat away at that lead.
Okay, this is where we need to see Navi hold a setup, right? They weren't able to do it at all on Friday. I'm telling you, not one single time. If you want to get back into this round, how are you going to be able to get the first pick? Who's going to make a play? Who's going to win the one? Mighty's got Nurix on screen, and we'll see if he's able to subside the pressure here.
Hold the ball. Hold the setup. It's not quite Hodor, but it's close enough. Nurix down to no shields, eliminated. Jimbo has been lighting up Quadrant all day long. Do not challenge the man right now in the form he's in. And they're starting to close the gap now. Quadrant, how can they respond? Camouflage for 2Foxy.
It's Jimbo that does it. He gets that double crucial. Swings numbers to his advantage. It allows Navi to successfully pick up some more ball time. Not only that, but it allows 2Foxy to get this camo, and you're seeing here and now what camo can do on a map like Recharge, especially when it's paired with sword. Quadrant
getting desperate. Information, the sword player camo was bottom middle. Shad runs right past them. Tunnel visions the ball. And with mistakes like that, with 2Foxy locking in a killing spree, Navi have taken the lead in round 1.
It was a 40-point lead as Navi got this set up. And I wondered if they were going to hold it. They held it perfectly, 87 and climbing.
What can Quadrant do? They have to get close. They don't seem to be anywhere near. They have to clear the corners. Chick desperately dives in. He's the first pick. Players down bottom middle, not going to get close enough. Close but no cigar. Round 1 to the yellow and black.
One more round, Navi. Can you give it to us? All it took was one setup, too. Navi not having any success in Recharge oddball so far, I feel like, on the main stage. They got that one setup in blue. Jim makes a play. 2Foxy starts making plays, and that's what I'm talking about. It's momentum for Navi. They show you everything you need to see.
As we wait to get back underway, 2Foxy, a monumental series he's having. We spoke about it all the way through the online shows. We were waiting for this beast to awaken. Much like Sentinels, is this their moment? SLG goes down. Kimbo locks in one more. Quadrant looking very, very shaky. This is very uncharacteristic of them. Kimbo's on a tear now, right? Dangerously close to a killing spree. He is shut down eventually. Quadrant have the ball. How they desperately need it.
It's going to be another early lead here in round 2 for Quadrant. But will they be able to hold on to it? As Navi have done everything so far throughout this series to prove that's not going to be the case. Chick with 20 kills. Somebody help me out, please, as he's saying. SLG's forced to play the ball, so that setup, it's broken. It's a 21-point lead. Not a bad situation if you're Quadrant, but you need this round to keep this series going.
Chick with the most kills and almost the most ball time as well. He's trying to do it all by himself. He needs help. Will anybody answer the call in round 2? 21-second advantage. With Camouflage to play with very shortly as well. They've not been doing a great job of securing it. Certainly not putting it to use as they would want. Shad, top catwalk.
Oh.
2, Foxy re-challenges and gets the kill. We talked about how Jim's not missing. 2, Foxy, a very similar story.
2, Foxy is making plays so far today. Highest fragger on the team here in game 3 for NAVI. And that was a challenge by Shad that I was wondering, are you going to stay in this fight? And if you do, are you going to regret it? 2, Foxy makes him pay.
Kills again, numbers advantage for Navi. That should mean the opportunity to grab the camo. It favors them. Mighty's a slid in. He scooped it up and he's gotten away with his life. Kimbo's done the work he needed to. Even if he goes down, his teammate has got the camouflage, but as I say that, SLG, he makes sure the camouflage will not be an influence any longer.
Fairly slow round so far. Everybody playing for control. All it took was one setup last round for Navi to blow that round wide open. Can they get another setup opportunity? Can they hold it again? Will Quadrant let that happen? Questions to be asked. Quadrant go 3 down, and Navi, this is going to be a pipe setup for them if they can take down SLG here.
SLG needed to. Desperately tried to get it. Access denied. Ball scooped up, and again they try and make this play once more. They were unsuccessful on a couple of occasions, particularly in round 1, and almost handed the game. A round 1 win to Quadrant. Will this one be more successful? This time Mighty's opting to use the ball as bait. Successfully done so too. 3 go down for Quadrant. Again, it's a little bit too desperate.
And this is that blue setup that we saw Navi have so much success with in the first round. Mighty's got it, has it perfectly in the back. You want to be milking time here. Quadrant coming off respawn. Something they couldn't do last round, they have to do this round, is break this setup quickly.
Quadrant are running around blind. They have no information. They're running into gun engagements. They're not clearing their corners. They're making all of these mistakes. This is something we don't typically see as Jim handles Nurix. Again, he runs into a quick death.
There's another player back blue to deal with. They want to get the ball off the map at the very least. Quadrant do. They do take down the ball carrier. Unfortunately, immediately the slaves come through, and Quadrant still looking for answers on how to break this setup.
Navi looking very good. Ticket to winners finals at stake here. Nurix with the camouflage though helps his teammate secure 1. Can he take down Jim's sword in the back pocket? And immediately you can see the respect given. Camouflage player though in trouble. Jimbo making wise decisions, backs off, does not want a piece of the fight. Opts to live and fight another day. That day will come here and now. Shad, dispatched, finally takes down Nurix. Camouflage was null and void in the end. 2 players down to 1 now. Chick, last man alive, long haul, and that is nowhere to be.
So well played by Jim there. Doubles back, stays alive for the most part, and gets 2 kills, swings momentum back in Navi's favor as the ball was neutralized. They get it back in the long haul, and you know exactly where that ball is headed. It's headed to blue for another chance at a full setup against this Quadrant roster, still looking for answers. Uh-oh.
3v3, Jim using that sword again. He seems to be spawning with it at the moment. The game is so much easier when you have a sword to boot. A triple kill for the Englishman as he tries to propel his team forward to grand finals.
Foxy perfectly plays the ball as well. It's just a heads-up play again from 2 Foxy. Everything that's needed. It might not be flashy. It might not be something super incredible in the stats line, but playing that ball is so important to just remove any opportunity Quadrant would have at some ball time.
Now all of a sudden, with 49-24 being the scoreline, something else plays a factor now as 41 seconds of in-game time. Quadrant have got to start scoring points. They've got to keep their hands on the ball because Navi are very dangerously heading towards Slayer territory.
Yeah, this one's going to end up as a close one. Beautiful teamwork out of Quadrant to potentially keep Chit alive with this ball. And now as they approach just 10 points in the deficit column, you want to see them rotate this one over to Elevator. They could eventually start to have time on their favor if they hold this setup for just moments longer.
I want to see Chick pass the ball over to Nurix, who's been having a bit of a struggle, and with how well Chick has been playing. Sometimes you want your best guns fit and firing. Nurix has gone down, as has SLG. The setup potentially broken ball, tossed out the bottom middle and into no man's land. But now Navi have control of the ball, and Navi are looking to brawl.
Somebody finish this ball carrier. That melee was big, but if nobody kills the ball guy, it's not that big of a deal. A massive shot from 2 Foxy. As Navi were actually able to convert that ball into pipes, and now with a couple of players here, Quadrant have to get this ball back in their hands in order to win this round.
We're all tied up, and Quadrant retake the lead. Mighty's Navi have to go. They've dropped the ball. They're not interested in trying to reach the maximum score. 10 seconds are left in the game. Navi need to get their hands on the ball, but SLG holds the fort, gets one more kill, and Quadrant will get around on the board. We're all tied up.
Look at the coach in the back getting hype. Quadrant not done with this series yet. Not gonna go quietly in the night. They show you a little bit of life. They start getting slays, and look at the difference in the slays on the side of Quadrant in that second round. Everybody's starting to get a piece. We said Nurix needed to step it up. I believe he ended the round with 5. He puts 13 on the board in round 2.
Better, but needs to improve further. They're going to stand a chance of the reverse sweep. 3 dead for Navi. SLG, though, he's also the last man alive. It's experience against the young gun. They both delayed the fight. Nurix now up against Mighty. Both those players back down once more. Finally dispatched and taken care of, though. Chick gets taken down. Numbers advantage favor Quadrant, but they're not really in a position just yet to punish Navi. 2 Foxy heads to pipes, but that'll be the last movement of that life.
Yeah, let's see how Quadrant are able to capitalize now with the first time it feels like in this series they have a little bit of momentum. SLG getting caught off there is not something you want to see, but a good trade from Nurix. The man of round 2, I'd say. Maybe not statistically the best performer on his team, but the fact that he was able to make up so much of the difference from round 1 gave his team life, gave his team hope to stay in this one, and now Quadrant looked to be a little bit more dominant on the map than they ever have.
2 kills, though. Go for Navi, and Chick just misses that second and final melee, and that'll be enough to keep Navi at a full strength 4. Shad gets back down, tries to throw a couple of exit grenades. They will not land it and find a home. And again, you can see Navi favor this blue setup.
It's because you get to play the ball, right? You get to reset the map. You deny any chance of like a counter setup from happening in oddball. It's so crucial to be able to throw that ball off the map, and that's why Navi prefer to be back here. And Quadrant, they haven't proven that they can break this one easily, right? And as Camo is coming up, if Navi can get some slays, which they do, they're going to be able to get this ball set up for a very long time. 4 go down for Quadrant. I believe Camo does get burned, but Navi going to be able to capitalize.
Jimbo, who picked up the camouflage, it would seem, he's opted to go for a late pop. Kimbo's at the respawn screen. There is Jim. Camouflage in hand. Picks up 1. Desperately trying to stay alive, though, and is unable to do so. Great heads-up play from Quadrant to spot him out and ensure he cannot do any further damage. 26 points to 17, though. Navi have a lead, but it's Blender.
Even with Quadrant being down in this round, they do such a much better job of coming off respawn and denying what was potentially a game series-ending setup from Navi.
Shad with hands on the ball. Kimbo with so many players to aim at, almost spoiled for choice. Does get one, but that will be the cut of it. That's all he will get. SLG drops down. 3 dead for Navi. Chick trying to get the ball over towards Elevator. Getting tagged up from the long haul spawns. He's done so successfully, but can he play his life? Throws the ball mid-bridge. They are also looking to bring the ball blue, it would seem. Mighty's gets handled. He needs his team to clear out blue before he can bring the ball, and it will not come. So he opts for pipes instead.
What a beautiful rotation from Chick, doing everything for this Quadrant roster right now. He had to step up. He is stepping up, and this rotation, this read from him is so perfect. They got to know the Navi are coming from this long haul location, though, and players have gotten behind enemy lines. Chick goes down, and it's up to Shad.
Chick, most kills, most ball time as well. And all of a sudden, Shad finds himself all alone in pipes, and sometimes, even with the sword, it can be cold in there when you're all alone. And Jimbo tries to find the headshot, and does find the headshot against the sword player. 37-26, setup broken, wide open.
Jimbo hits the second shock rifle shot, and Shad was looking everywhere, but couldn't locate him anywhere. And because of it, you'd think Quadrant is going to get that kill onto Jim. It's going to have some pipes control, but no, Jimbo erases that thought with an amazing shot. That close with the shock rifle, that is not easy.
Navi retake the lead. Quadrant have to come again. They're a member down though, and that will make this push significantly harder. Trades have come, and that will favor Navi all the live long day. Urix has finally picked up 2 though. Now the opportunity. 2 Foxy recognizes that he's going to have to use his gun here. He does not have the cover of his teammates. He's put the ball in a perilous position, but he has opted to retrieve it. Urix steps out, he clears left, but doesn't clear right. Puts the brakes on and reverses. I think he thought that was the bathroom.
Just a couple of members on Quadrant right there in these last few moments that we've seen. Not really having the best awareness, not having the best idea of where Navi are. The timings are off, the positionings are a little off from Quadrant. They're not reading the situations correctly. Will it come back to bite them at the end? Big questions, big mistakes on the side of Quadrant, but they have been able to recoup. They've recovered, and now Nurix with ball in hand is exactly what Quadrant fans need to see.
Urix has played that ball, but he hasn't gotten the lead. Perhaps a misplay, killing spree for him. Like to have seen him maybe get an extra second or so. The information must have come from a teammate. And speaking of communication, let's have a Quadrant listen in.
Sur la balle, maintenant tu Foxy, one shot. En stack aussi.
Mec sur moi, stack, il monte.
One shot Benny,
C'est jump, il vous flanque.
Camo spawn maintenant. One shot lancé.
Moi je tancé.
La bonne est morte. Nice, y'a un mec en 1. Y'a un mec en bleu. Un mec en L, one shot en L. Marrant. Camo spawn, 2 morts. Bable qui la bridge. Free kill.
One shot en stack.
Sniper. Il est one shot. Sniper en A. Ils ont la balle.
Ça va être chaud là, faut faire un break. Faut prendre ce temps.
Et un type. Ouais, le sniper stacks. Un bridge bleu.
I would say cool, calm and collected, but I'll tell you, my French understanding is little to none. All I know is it was frantic. 69 points now to 49. During that listening, they went 4 dead. Mighty's rattled the dome of Shad, and he apologized immediately. He recognized it was a misplay. And now Navi threatening to put Quadrant down to the elimination bracket. Quadrant have to come, but the numbers advantages will not come their way, and you can see Jimbo leaning back, arms over his head. That's how comfortable he's starting to feel.
Surely he's not doing that in the middle of a game, I don't think. We're gonna have to find out if there is something going on. I guess so, maybe just stretch it out, Jimbo. Feeling very comfortable as Navi take the win 2-1. And I guess it was as easy. Maybe Jim knew he didn't need to play the rest of the game. The pressure from Quadrant, not enough. The pressure from Navi all series long gets the job done, and it's in a 3-0 form. They continue this run.
That is scary. He leans back in his chair, arms over his head. Job done. He's already ready to clock out. 3-0 clean sweep. A dominant performance from Navi. And coming into today, I thought this had the potential to go to a game 5, but Quadrant were most definitely the favorites.
I think everybody thought this was going to be a good series. I think everybody thought the Online Warriors series was going to be a good series as well yesterday, but Navi continuing to be underestimated, continuing to be doubted. They proved the doubters wrong once again, and in dominant format. It's too Foxy and Jimbo dropping 40. Unbelievable performance from the veterans on the team. Everybody's starting to step up and make plays in Quadrant. They could not keep up with the black and yellow.
Tail of the tape then, looking at who done the damage, and it's no surprise with how the series was going. Two Foxy and Jimbo. They've been on that roster for a very long time, and they've come to life on Championship Sunday.
I'd say their spots are pretty comfortable on that roster at this point. Making some statements here on LAN at the Super, and rightfully so. You needed every bit of what they gave them, and on the other side, Chick started making plays towards the end, but it was too little too late, not enough from the rest of the boys, and didn't get to comment on it in the middle of the game, but we went into the listen-in with Quadrant. I don't speak French either. Shocker, I know. But it sounded hectic. And even at the end of the listen-in, you saw Shad or Nurix jumping out, and just like in a straight line jumps out, he gets shock rifle shot. And the second I see that, I've seen that 100 times. That is the pace of the game being too much, the pressure of the moment being too much for these players. And when that happens, the game's already over.
Quadrant have buckled under the pressure to NAVI. NAVI punched their ticket to winners finals. It's over to Lottie and the desk to break it down. What a series.
NAVI. Oh my goodness. I just want to say, you know, we kind of teed it up on the desk that this was going to be the indicator for NAVI in terms of where they're at, how they're doing, the growth that they've had this weekend. I'm going to say it right now, if they can keep that level of performance up, I see them taking the entire weekend. Just in considering what Ascend did on the main stage, Jailing's obviously shaking things up for them, a little bit of a confidence knock in certain moments and times. If NAVI can piece things together and Jimbo can have that level of confidence that we're seeing on the main stage, I think it's in their hands. What do you reckon, Gaskin?
I think you might be onto something. This NAVI roster looks different gravy this event. Some of the passion I'm seeing, some of the roars across the stage. Harry's saying we've not seen it for weeks, months. I've not seen it for years from some of these players, right? They haven't had that drive necessarily, but it just seems like they've been injected with a new life, with new fuel, and they look like a roster that are determined to make a statement, not just in this tournament, but throughout every series. They don't just want to win 3-0, they want to be stuffing their opponents 3-0. They want to be making a point every single game, and quite frankly, it's amazing to watch.
I think if there was one team who was looking forward to this event most out of everyone, it was NAVI. They are fed up of playing online, they do not enjoy it, they want to get to the live environment where they know it's a different game, and you are seeing a different team off of the back of this. I also want to take a second to kind of highlight how much of an anomaly the result back in KC was. Like, that was just, I just completely disregard that now, because that was just something that shouldn't have happened. I don't know how it happened, and now you're seeing what this roster is capable of. Every single player is performing their role superbly well, and the biggest thing for me that's impressive is that it looks like they've got this kind of aura about them, which nobody wants to play.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, especially with the role playing here as well. You know, everybody is doing their job. We're seeing that come through with Jimbo, Kimbo, 2Foxy made so many heads-up plays, and I think Clutch actually put it perfectly, that it's not always about the stats. You do want a player who is going to be headstrong, go forward, pick up the ball, play the ball when needed, and kind of make these big decisions here as well. And I've got to say, a big decision needs to be made very shortly about whether NAVI are your favorites, folks at home, because they're looking pretty amazing, and Jimbo, the smile on your face is looking amazing as well, sir. Exceptional series, 3-0 against Quadrant. My God, and also, you look completely different out there, dude. And I don't think it's just the gameplay, it's the way you're carrying yourself. Jimbo, I mean, we're seeing you get triple after triple after triple in every single map. You look so comfortable and confident with your team. Talk to me about the vibes this morning, heading into Championship Sunday.
Just to continue off of yesterday. That's all we were saying. It was just like, keep the momentum, keep what we're doing. What we're doing is great. You know, it doesn't matter if there's any, you know, anything goes bad. You like keep positive, keep on going how we're going, because I feel like we're unstoppable right now.
Yeah, you guys certainly are unstoppable. And, you know, talking about what players are doing for you at the moment, you know, I think everybody's really stepping up to the mark. Is there anything that's missing right now that you guys need to kind of pick apart heading into bigger series? You know, you mentioned in your interview you have a couple of series, so you're managing to take away the whole weekend. You're going to come up against another top team who are looking to take you guys and knock you right off the stage. So what do you want to clean up on?
I don't know. I feel like so far from what we've played, I haven't felt like there's a lot we've done wrong. So I don't really have anything to say about cleaning up on. As long as we keep on going how we're going and keep the momentum going, then, you know, like I say, I just feel like we're unstoppable anyway. So I don't know. I feel like we're just playing the way we want to play the game right now and keep it up, you know.
I was going to say the same thing as well, and you've been looking so damn good. Like, you really have been. I know you've had your confidence issues over the last 4 years, but you had none of that. At some points, after some doubles, after some debatable plays from Quadrant, you was even sitting there sniggering, thinking, like, what on earth's going on here? Like, it's absolutely crazy. But my question is going to be for you is, you've seen the likes of Ascend earlier on, you've seen what they were like against Jailings. How do you feel like you will perform against them after watching that series?
I think Ascend is scared right now. Maybe it's me. From watching, we were backstage warming up, but obviously looking at series scores and seeing they're not playing the way that Ascend usually would play. So I feel like there's a lot of fear in that team right now, which obviously is perfect for us, right? Coming through the harder bracket. And obviously fair play to J-Links, you know, they've been stepping up all tournaments. So yeah, I just think the main thing we've sat there and watched, we watched Online Warriors warm up yesterday and they just looked scared. We looked at Quadrant warming up today, they looked scared. And we're just all sat there like, this is, you know, we've got nothing to lose, right? So keep it up, you know.
My question is to do with this alter ego that seems to be developing within you. Now, Beyonce, famously, when she steps on stage, has this alter ego. Sasha Fierce. I want to know, is this Jim Fierce that we're seeing on the stage right now?
Is that what we're going to call it now?
Have you taken some inspiration from Beyonce?
Jim Fierce.
Oh yeah, I've just sit there and listened to Beyonce all day long. It's just
I thought so.
I mean,
is it a conscious decision though that you've kind of made? Is it like you want to get loud and proud and you want to prove yourself here at this event?
Well, it's like I said yesterday. I feel like if I bleed confidence, everyone else on the team would bleed confidence, right? And I think, like I've said, personally, I've not had good confidence in myself playing for a very long time, and it's like I need to stop that. You know, in my mind, it's like I'm mentally like preparing to get, like, my girlfriend's sending me so many motivational stuff, like watching like the Last Dance TV show and stuff like that, where it's just like lets you change your mentality and stuff like that. And that's the main push for me right now is change the mentality, come along different. Because if I'm confident, then surely no one's gonna stop me, you know.
I think sitting like this on stage.
Yeah, that helps.
I thought I threw that. Yeah. I got a bit worried at the end, then it got a bit close, but I thought, you know what?
I thought you would have got.
I was just chilling. I was just like, I thought it's over. So, you know.
Or you change your controller mid-tournament as well.
Yes.
That seems to have helped.
Yeah.
Is there is that a conscious decision that you always have every tournament that you're thinking about, like maybe changing a pad, or was it just something that happened after the first series?
Coming into this event, my left bumper wasn't really clicking, so I was kind of like,
That
I never bring a spare controller, but this event I was like, I'm going to bring it just in case. I'm glad I did. But there's a couple of, like, the aiming just didn't feel good. I mean, sometimes it's head casing, sometimes it just maybe something different is better. So yeah, switching controllers has helped me out a lot so far.
And we spoke to Brandon Respectful earlier after his game, and I was asking the differences between playing on NAVI, playing on Ascend, and he said the good thing about Ascend is they don't just play structured, but they play amidst the chaos as well, whereas he felt like NAVI is a far more structured team, but maybe don't know how to thrive in that chaos. Would you agree with that, or do you think you guys can go up against Ascend and also play it in a chaotic manner?
I think we do have the ability to play in chaotic. I think we prefer to keep it a bit more controlled, because like I said yesterday, to me I feel like when you watch North American Halo, it's chaotic control in a way, but it's much more controlled, whereas playing Ascend and like teams like Online Warriors, they're very, very chaotic. And they can play controlled, I'm not saying they can't, but you know, I think Quadrant is another team that play very, very good controlled as well. So yeah, I can agree with what Brandon's saying. I think we're two different teams, and it's obviously, you know, how we both turn up right then, and what's better, chaotic or controlled.
I think the turning point for you guys, especially this weekend and overall just in general with your team, was the fact that when you were playing against Online Warriors, we saw the raw passion. We've not seen it for quite a long time. Now, going back to it, we know it was a bit of a struggle in the past where on the Friday you looked a little bit shaky, but was that series against Online Warriors really helped you due to the fact that, was you worried on the Friday that things aren't clicking again?
Like I said, I didn't feel like I was playing very well on Friday, and I think we had frustrations on the Friday as well. Just, I don't know, we came in quite slow, because obviously like our first series was against Blackhand. They'd already played a series. You know, we hadn't played for a good couple of days, and the warm-ups weren't like set up straight away. So there's a big combination of all that, but I think the fact that we closed out the day 3-0, and we kind of like said, hey, we need to stop doing what we usually do, and let's come into this new fresh, we have a hard bracket, let's just do this, you know, let's win this event.
Final question from me is just about the trust that's going down in the camp right now, because it has been, like we mentioned yesterday, we talked about a little bit, a lot of decisions had to be made, how you want to play, how you want to approach different situations. It seems like you finally found that nice kind of happy place where everyone's trusting each other's decisions. Does it feel like that in game for you at the moment in the comps?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like obviously there are still some things where it's like, oh, one of us wants to do this, one of us to do that, and we're like, I think because we're in tournament mode, and you know, this is when it matters, right? And we're all like, okay, no, right, I'm gonna give it my idea. This is the call to be made. Let's follow that and let's trust each other's, you know. And if it goes wrong, right? You know, you go to the next life and do whatever the next one. So that's definitely yeah, like, I think it is all of us are in tournament mode. You know, it's like online scrims, whatever, online tournaments, whatever. It's like tournament mode. This is when it really matters. This is what we're all fighting for, so we really need to be on it.
Well, Jimbo, it sounds like and looks like you guys have everything in line. I mean, the results speak for themselves. Incredible stuff from you guys. Really excited about the rest of your journey here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations and best of luck on Championship Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a look at the bracket, folks, and see the winners bracket. Now that NAVI have managed to reign supreme over Quadrant 3-0. I mean, the score is just unbelievable. I was expecting a pretty long series, to be perfectly honest with you, in this winners semi-final. But heading into our winners finals, they will be facing a very tough opponent. Ascend, wait for this big best of 5 to see who's going to be going into that grand final spot and who's going to be bumping down. Onset, you got a little something to say.
I can't wait for this.
I know.
Cannot wait for
No.
this game. Just after Casey, the drama, everything respectful gets dropped from NAVI, ends up on Ascend. We've had the online back and forth. Finally, we get to put it to bed. I can't wait. It's going to be an amazing series.
You know, Respectful said there's no bad blood there.
There's bad blood. I
beg
don't care what
to
he says.
differ when they get on the stage, when they're, you
Who
know.
has ever been dropped from a team and thought, I deserve to be dropped here? You know what I mean? Like, of course he wants to be.
This is very, very true. Well, I'll tell you what, talking about drops, let's drop down to the elimination bracket, see who's there. We got Scorched Hand versus Quadrant. We actually did mention Black Hand potentially coming in to meet Jaylings, but things were a little bit backwards there. So Jaylings actually are going to be taking on Online Warriors. But yes, go on.
Scorched Hand beat Black Hand.
Yeah, pretty insane.
That is the 3rd time we've seen Black Hand lose a best of 5 in Game 5, 3-2.
Wow.
They are never coming back to Valencia, Black Hand. Like, that is the worst way to have a tournament finish for you.
Third Game 5 in a row.
They lose to a team who's kind of playing under the same organisation.
Same org, Riots versus Lunny, previous teammates as well. I was not expecting that one.
That's crazy.
That's our first real upset, I'd say, in the elimination
The weirdest
bracket.
team kill, I think. Definitely.
If it was 50-48, by the way, then I'm done it from Black Hand. I'm like, imagine losing 3 games like
How
that.
close the slay was.
series.
We'll have to find out and make sure you guys know. But yeah, some upsets definitely on the cards. Maybe more upsets to come. We're heading to a quick break right now, but when we come back, we will actually be seeing Jaylings versus Online Warriors. This is a big matchup because someone is going forward, someone is going home, and you guys will find out right after this break.